Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to continue with the Olivia Bag pattern. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button, like and comment. Thank you. I'm going to wrap this with our synthetic leather. So I'm just going to apply my gum on one surface of the board interface. So if the vinyl or fox leather you are using is thick, which I do not advise, you do not need to interface some parts of your bag like your ring connector. All you have to do is to draw a middle line lengthwise on the exterior fabric and fold the edges, the longer edges to meet the line. Now I'm going to allow this dry for about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to place it on top. So for the ring holder, we're going to fold the edge, this longer part, we're going to fold both edges, and for the shorter part, we're going to fold just one edge. So we're not folding the other parts. So now I'm just going to place. Remember, the Olivia Bag pattern is still on a 15% discount off, so go to the description box and click on the link to purchase the pattern. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and comment. Thank you. So now I'm going to apply our gum at the edge of the ring holder of the interface. So now I'm going to allow this dry as well. Let it dry for about 10 minutes before folding the edge of the interface. So I'm just going to fold. Now these are my rings, my D rings. I'm just going to pass the ring holder, this raw edge, through the ring. So you fold it. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of gum on this point to hold it together, so that by the time I'm sewing, I won't have to struggle with this. So you just apply a little bit of your gum. So now to fix your ring holder, you're going to center the ring holder on this 1-inch point. So you have to make sure the ring holder is straight. Now I'm going to leave some marks right there so that by the time I'm sewing, it doesn't move out of place. These marks are going to be my guide. I'm going to start sewing from this bottom part of the ring holder. So just arrange it in place. So we're not going to back stitch since we are sewing a box stitch. So this is one part where the video tutorial is slightly different from the pattern instruction itself. So instead of placing your ring connector directly on your gusset and top stitching around it, you can just follow the instruction on the pattern by just slitting on the gusset panel, pass your ring connector through it and top stitch very close to the cut open or slit line. So these are just various ways you can sew your ring or attach your ring connectors to your gusset panel. So now I'm going to apply our gum. So this is the side frame for the side panel or gusset panel. So now you can see me applying gum on the leather board, which serves as my interfacing for the side frame. So these are points where I advise you not to interface so you don't struggle while sewing the sides of your bag. So I'm interfacing my fox leather because the fox leather I'm using is actually very light. So you can follow the pattern instruction to know how to use just your vinyl or fox leather if you do not want to interface it, so that while sewing you don't have to struggle with the thickness, especially if you are using a domestic home machine. So don't forget, the Olivia bag is still on the 15% discount off till December 31st. So by January 1st, the discount will be off and it's going to go back to its normal price. So hurry up and grab a copy of the pattern now that it's still on the discount off, and get ready because I'm dropping my second bag pattern very soon. So now I'm going to allow these dry for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm just going to place this on top. So you make sure you eyeball about half an inch allowance on the synthetic leather, because we're folding around the edge of both the longer side and the shorter part of it. So now I'm going to apply gum on the edge or at the edge of the board interface, and also apply gum on this excess we left on the synthetic leather. So I'm just going to use my finger to apply this. So there are different ways you can actually prepare your side frame. So aside the method I used on the video and the one I also used on the pattern instruction, you can cut 4" plus the seam allowance for the side frame. That's if you are using the lining method I used on the pattern instruction. So when you cut 4", that way you can fold it into 2 equal halves. So after doing that, you do not have to line the side frame separately. I'm just going to allow both to dry before folding around the edge of the leather board. So now we are going to fold. So you make sure you are folding the edge tightly. Now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew. So you are going to place the right side of the asset panel on the right side of your gusset panel. So you're just going to start from this top part. You place it this way. We're going to sew them both together. Just turn and you sew. So we're going to sew it this way. Sew it back stitch. To sew the side frame to the gusset or the side panel, get the midpoints at the bottom of the gusset and also get the midpoint of the side frame. Place both midpoints together at the bottom of the gusset, remember. And now one thing you should take note of is that you are placing both right sides together. The right side of the side frame and the right side of the gusset panel, you are placing them together. Then after placing the midpoints together, make sure the top, at the top, both matches the side frame. That's the short part of the side frame. Make sure it aligns with the top part of the gusset panel. So this is my first bag pattern, so please support me by purchasing the pattern, which is still on a 15% discount off. It's been on a discount since December 4th, or the discount will be off by 31st of December, so that's almost a month. So please go to my description and click on the link, which will take you to my website, and purchase the bag pattern. On my website, you also see other things you might want to purchase, like our ongoing online class, which we are teaching you 12 different bag designs and other accessories. So now I'm going to trim off this little excess of the gussets on this part. So I'm just going to trim this off. You're trimming it off because you. So if this is your first time here, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and drop your comment. You can also comment on which country you're watching from. I'm going to sew our gusset panel to the main body of our bag. Now I'm going to apply a tiny line of gum on one side of the main panel and apply on this part, the ashes panel, because this is the part we are going to sew to the main body this way. So we're going to apply our gum on these parts all around the ashes panel. So you do not have to use your adhesive contact cement gum. You can also use your double-sided tape to attach your gusset or side panel to the main body of your bag, or you can even use your binding clip. Just clip them and make sure the edges are properly aligned, so that when you are sewing, your stitches are going to come out very neat and straight. So you're just going to allow this dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm just going to leave it to dry. Now I'm going to place this starting from the top. Make sure it is equal. So I'm going to clip that. Take the other parts and place it right at the top. So you make sure the edges are both aligned. Just like when sewing the side frame to the side panel or gusset panel, you also have to make sure the top part of the side frame matches with the top part of the front and back panel of the bag. So we're going to take this to our sewing machine and sew. When sewing, you make sure you pull back your flap panel so you don't sew on it. So we're going to sew all around. So now I'm just going to remove my clip, apply my machine oil, your flap away, and place. So I'm just going to back stitch. So now you leave your machine needle down. Just going to lay this flat. You place your flap panel backward. So I have to make sure the edges are well aligned. So now I'm just going to sew. Now I'm just going to apply my machine oil. So if your sewing machine has a working foot, you do not need to apply much oil on your fabric. Now if you are following the pattern instruction, you are to top stitch round with 1/8 inch, after which you top stitch from that 1/8 inch, top stitch 1/4 inch. So this is to make sure you sew on both the lining on the main panel and also sew on the lining of the gusset panel, because you don't want to sew your bag and then you see some part of your lining pulling out. So after sewing, I noticed I had some skipped stitches at this part. So this is as a result of insufficient machine oil. So when you are working with any thick fabric, you have to make sure you apply enough machine oil. And you do not need a machine oil if your sewing machine has a working foot. So now I'm just going to lose this and sew it back carefully, after which I'll come back. Remember, we still have to fix our lock and our male magnetic snaps at the body of the bag, and we also have to fix our tag at this bottom part of the front panel. So I'm just going to lose this and stitch it back. And see, I just applied my machine oil and stitched it back, so now it's better. So next we are going to fix our accessories. So this is my male magnetic snap, and sorry, these are the washers for more security. So this is my lock. I'm going to be fixing, oh sorry, okay, so this is the lock and this is my tag. So first we're going to fix the male magnetic snap, and to do that I'm just going to clip this in place. So you just make sure your bag handle is well centered and the edges of your flap aligns with the edges of the main panel, after which you can clip. So after making sure the handle is well centered at the top, I'm just going to take my silver pen and mark. Make sure you clip it well. So now I'm going to mark on my female magnetic snap with my silver pen. So this way I'll know the exact point to fix the male magnetic snap. So after marking on your female magnetic snap, I'm just going to press it down on the body of my main panel. So this way we are going to imprint some mark and know the exact point to fix our male magnetic snap. Okay, and you can see the points. This one. So now I'm just going to center my magnetic snap. Just eyeball and center it. Then you press it down. Okay, so now this is the point where we are going to cut through. I'm just going to highlight that. Now I'm going to repeat this same procedure on the other 3 points. Sleep, you'll go sleep. So now I'm going to use my scissors to cut through these marks. So you just have to be careful. Remember, this is just one layer of interface. So you have to be careful not to cut too wide. Please note that your seam ripper is the best tool you use for punching or cutting a hole when fixing your magnetic snaps, your purse fits, and the rest. Do not use your scissors just because I'm doing so. And if you are even using your seam ripper, you have to be very careful not to cut too wide of a hole. It has happened to me many times, so you have to be very careful. So now I'm going to pass the feet of my magnetic snap through these holes. So just push it in. Now I'm going to place my washers on top of each of the feet. So I'm going to hit down the feet with my hammer. So first you just press it down a little bit with your hand to make it easy. So drop it. So now that we're done fixing the magnetic snaps, so I'm just going to close this. So next we're going to fix our lock. First we're going to fix the part of the lock that's going to go to the flap panel. So now this is my lock. This part of the lock normally goes to the main body of the bag, while this other part goes to the flap. So now this is a screw lock. So first I'm going to unscrew this. So now these front parts of the lock, these parts, you're going to place it on your flap panel. So now you take your lock and you center it right at that point. And then you mark it out. So now we're going to cut out these parts, these marked out parts. I'm going to cut out these parts of the flap. So to make this easy, first I'm going to punch a hole with my puncher. So now carefully, I'm going to cut around this. One way to make this easy, when adding your extra board interface, you cut out these parts where you are going to fix your lock. You make sure the board interface is not at this part. So I'm just going to trim round it. So I've gone ahead to lose this part of my flap. So this is what I was trying to explain to you, that when you want to fix your flap, when inserting this carry board to make your flap thick or sturdy, you cut out this part, the middle part where you are going to fix your lock. So now I can just easily just place your lock the way you want it to face. So this is the other part of my lock. So I want it to face this way, so I'm going to place my lock that same way. So you just place, as you're cutting, you check to make sure you don't cut too wide. So now you can see it's all cleared. When you place your lock, You're not going to see any layers, but we still have to cut out these parts where we are going to pass our screw through. So now what I just do, I use my silver pen to just mark at this top part of it, the feet. Oh, I don't really know what this is called though. Now place it back. Just place it. Okay. Now I'm going to press that down. Press it. So now, sometimes I use my hole punch, the small size, to just punch on these marked parts. But now I'm just going to quickly use my scissors, just cut, just in case you don't have your hole punch, just use your scissors to cut this out. So just place it and check. So now you can see the space where we're going to pass our nostrils opened. So now I'm going to take the cover and place it right on top. Take your screw, put it right there. Now I'm just going to screw this back in place. So you make sure you screw it tightly. Wait. So now I'm going to clip this back with my magnetic snap. Now after locking, just mark the midpoint, just eyeball and mark the midpoint of this. I think that's the midpoint. Okay, so we're going to open and take the other part of our lock, which is going to go to the main body. So you're going to center this midpoint of your lock. Hope you can see this midpoint. You're going to center it on the mark. So now you have to be careful how you face your lock. You can see, so one side of the lock is bigger than the other side. So I'm going to face it this way. Just eyeball and you center. So just going to press that right down. Okay, so we're cutting through this mark, both marks. So I'm just going to open, cut through the mark. So just push this. Okay, so that is it. We're going to use our tape to secure that, but I'm just going to quickly check. I always like to check out my work. So now you can see how cute the lock is. So now I'm going to use my tape to secure this in place. So I'm just going to place my tape right there. So this way it's more secured. Okay, so before going to sew these parts of the flap, I'm just going to quickly fix my tag at this bottom parts, the left part of my bag. So I'm going to fix my tag. Now to do that, I'm going to mark 1 inch. I don't know if you can see 1 inch from this edge. Just mark 1 inch. Now from the bottom part, going to mark 1 inch as well. Okay, now take your tag, make sure it's placed the right things. You make sure they are placed well, face it well. Oh, I don't know. Now you're going to place this edge of it right on this point. So place it right there. Okay, let me just slip this so we can do this easily. I don't know if you can. Okay, you can see me. So just place it right there. You have to make sure your tag is straight. Okay. I just want you to see what I'm doing clearly. So you make sure it is straight. Now I'm going to mark from the inside. Okay. So I'm just going to cut through that mark. Now I'm going to take my tag and just pass it into. So I'm going to press it down from the inside. Hope you can see. I'm going to place my tape on this part of the tag. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to sew this part of the flap. I'm just going to sew it back starting from this point, and I'm going to stop right here to place this right at this point. I'll back stitch. So now you can see how careful I'm trying to be. I'm trying to sew right on this holes I made while making the first stitch. So this way I don't get to have different holes of stitch. So now this is basically our bag. Trust me when I say the camera is not doing justice to this bag. So now you can see even without our inserts, this is quite thick and sturdy. I'm pretty sure some people like their bag this way. So now you can leave your bag this way, but if you are going to leave it this way, you are still going to need to attach or add your inserts to the base panel, because the base panel has to be sturdy, you know. And remember, we still have to add our lining. So by the time you add your lining to this, it is going to be more structured, just in case you don't want to add any insert to your bag. But I'm going to be adding an insert to this particular bag. So I'm using my carry board as an insert. So this is going to serve as my bag stiffener. This is a stiffener board. known as carry board. You can use any stiffener that is 2 mm thick. You can use your carry board, you can use your cellulose board, your Peltex, or your Decover Heavy. So these are the inserts for our bag. Now I'm just going to take my bag. So the first thing we are going to do is to fix in the inserts. Okay, now before fixing the inserts, I'm just going to quickly say something. You can just fix it in without applying any gum or double-sided tape on it. You can just put it inside and it's still going to be sturdy. But one reason I like applying gum on it before fixing it inside is that by the time you apply your gum on both surface and you place it together, it tends to be more structured and thick. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. When you apply your gum on anything, you glue it together, or you join them together, it gets to be more thick. It becomes thicker than when you just place both panels together. So just for you to believe, you can just place. I'm just going to place this without any gum on it. So just place it inside. Okay, on this I'm just going to apply my gum, and on the base panel as well. So I have to allow this to dry. So I'm going to apply on the rough surface of my bag. Just apply a little bit. So I just applied a little bit. So I'll allow both to dry before placing. It's in order not to waste much time, I'm just going to apply on the base and also apply on the interface or the inserts. Okay, so I'm going to allow this to dry. So first I'm going to insert this. Just press it together. Now to insert the base inserts, you're going to push out your gussets. Just push this part out. Okay. So now I'm going to take, So now I'm going to take my base inserts and just place it right inside. So you can see. Now I'm just going to place this back. Okay, now we're good to go. Okay, So now you can see. So okay, now you can see the difference of the front panel, which we applied our gum, and the back panel. It still feels like there is no insert on the back panel. If you can hear the sound, so you can see the difference. So that's one reason I normally like applying my gum on the board before attaching or inserting it inside my bag. So now we're done with the main part of the bag. Next, we are going to prepare our bag lining, which we are going to sew, place inside and sew all around. So we're just going to keep this. So in the next part of the video, we're going to be preparing the lining, which includes preparing the slip and the zipper pocket. Go to the description box and click on my link to purchase the pattern at a 15% discount off. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop your comments in the comment section. Bye!